As soon as I saw those birds,
I think we all saw the birds all at once.
All of us saw the birds. I knew it was going to be a great, great morning.
We've got like 130 years of striped bass fishing experience on this boat, and I would say that's 1 or 2 of my best striped bass days ever.
Today was as good as it gets.
There we go.
We had a tentative game plan this morning, and we knew that there had been a body of fish, to the north of our harbor, basically. But it had been slow. We'd had some doldrum, high pressure days, really, really hot temperatures, so the fish weren't eating for a super long period of time. So we just kind of stuck to our guns, at least trying to work our way near those spots to see if they might be there. We might mark them, and today it was just the birds were the clear indicator. There were cormorants, seagulls, there were some terns in there. As soon as we got a couple miles out of the harbor and saw those after we got bait, there was no doubt that there was fish on them. And our approach to it initially was throw X-Wraps out, at least see what we're marking, and get hooks in the water immediately and work our way towards those feeds. The last thing you want to do, unless you have it absolutely to yourself, is to rip right into one of those feeds full speed and put pressure on those fish. You're better off just kind of working the outskirts and working towards it in a slow manner. The thing Taylor and I are always looking for on birds, be it whether we're striper fishing or whether we're tuna fishing, is there's usually always one lead bird or a couple of lead birds that are going to be over the front side of those feeding fish. So what you're trying to do is get ahead of that lead bird and then make it so that your anglers are casting downwind so that they can really rip into them. You're not having to pull super, super tight to those feeding fish and let them come to you. That's pretty much was our approach today. We had that first big water birds that we approached nicely, and then it just seemed like there was multiple wolf packs of fish, and we didn't really have to keep an eye on the bird movement. Oh, you're on. Woo! Nice job.
Look at the bend in that rod. Whoa.
Yeah, Cal, that's a nice fish. That's a beautiful fish.
It's super solid.
This is probably 12 to 13-year-old bass.
So why do you recommend holding under the belly like that?
These fish are made to be in the water. We all like to swim because we feel so light and not so heavy, so you get it out into the gravity of air. It can't support its own weight here, so you do want to get a nice hand in. We've got some good pictures. We should get it back in the water. You can just grab it and put it the other way while he's trolling. Yeah, and it's just going to irrigate those gills, get a big fresh shot of oxygen right in there. You can see that Brian has modified his lures to have a single hook on the back, which we've shown to be a real reduction in post-release mortality, which is great. What's the water temperature right now, Brian?
I think it's like 55.
That's really nice and cool. You'll find the striped bass fight a lot harder in this cold water, but they also do a lot better with their stress, which is awesome.
As soon as he bites on your finger a little bit, you're good to go.
Okay, sweet.
Yep.
Good work, boys.
We're using these Penn rods today. The Sears brothers are hooked up with Penn. They're great rods and reels. They have enough, they're light enough to be a lot of fun. You're enjoying reeling these fish in.
You can feel the fight.
Yeah,
right?
but I mean, like, you also, when you have to put the boots to it and get it to the boat, because you don't want that long fight time, which puts more stress on the fish, right? You feel like you can do it still.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And
Plus, I'm pretty impressed because, I mean, some of these baits have a treble and then a single hook, but these fish aren't like getting beat up, right?
When you have the bait moving,
Like if you're not sitting still live bait fishing, if you have the bait moving, the trebles aren't as lethal as normal, right? Yeah. You have tension on the line, the fish comes up, each turns away. It's usually a good hook set. Where you run into problems with treble hooks when you're releasing fish is when you pause that bait.
Yeah.
And they have time to just inhale the whole thing.
Yep, and that's what we see is the worst of the double trebles are for those surface lures. And when you're doing that pop, pause, pop, pause, pop, pause, and Brian can probably really walk you through the best techniques to do that. But that's when you tend to get the most damage to the fish. You get a treble down in the gills.
What's like the #1 thing for just quick landing?
I think that what you're seeing here is great. You got two professionals and they have a net when you don't have a treble hook, because the treble hooks are all gonna get caught in the net. They're gonna damage the net. They're gonna make getting that fish out of it harder. So they have a net for you if you have single hooks. Yeah. And that's great. That's gonna support the fish, just like we're talking about holding it out of the water. It's gonna support the fish as you get it out. You can get a rubber coated net, it doesn't hurt the slime as much.
And I know it's like the Boca grips too.
Yeah, the fish
you're not
grips,
grabbing for gill plates or anything like that.
Yeah, it's like you want to keep your hands out of those gills. It's nice to come onto a boat like this and they have a program, they have a system, they figured out how to do it fast and protect the fish.
There we go. We're doing right there.
We got 4 on.
This is unreal.
4. Yeah,
oh my God! Unreal, dude.
I love fishing.
It's the best.
These are nice reels. Very.
So awesome. All right, let's get it right back in.
Right back in.
These fish today were balling up hoagies and some mackerel. We saw both bait species going through. I think profile was probably the biggest thing out of all this. You needed that 7 to 10 inch profile bait. We were using big soft plastics like these NLBNs. These are K-tails. These and these Hoagie Pro tails probably had the best overall ease of release. They came in, they were pinned right in the corner of the mouth. Very easy just to lip them. You didn't have to use the grippers or net or anything. You know, you could just bring them right up, grab them by the lip, pop them out. You don't even have to take them out of the water if you don't want. And then generally when we start a trip, especially on a charter with people that want to bring fish home, we'll usually start out with everything with trebles, you know, to try to get a few fish going. And then the minute we realize what size class we're dealing with, you know, if we're catching mostly overs and we're releasing a lot of fish, we change, you know, at least the bottom hook to a single. You know, most of these topwater lures, they get them in the face or the side of the face because they're just coming up and exploding on it. These deep divers, these X-Reps, get down onto the surface, so the fish have time to actually swallow the bait sometimes. Having this single hook definitely helps. And then we're just fishing a 6-foot, 40 or 50 pound fluoro, just a surgeon's loop with a tiny stainless 130 pound snap swivel. Just a small snap swivel, so it's a very tiny profile. You know, it doesn't look unnatural to the fish.
Doesn't catch weeds as bad.
Doesn't catch weeds. And then we have a long leader so that, you know, you have something to deal with at the boat. We use these fish grippers here, which are like basically a pair of vice grips. Just get this in the bottom lip. It locks in, then you can kind of deal with the fish. And it's nice having this because people that have caught them on lures with treble hooks, sometimes just this bottom hook's in, so when you're trying to reach, that treble is right there to grab your hand. So having this extension is helpful. And then once we really get into them hot and heavy like we did today, we just fish one little single hook, just trying to have fun.
They're gonna be all over the surface in front of us right here.
Oh yeah, Brian. There it is. As good as it gets. Woo! Nice fish. That's a sick one.
Measurement real quick.
46.
46. Look at this action, boys.
That's a nice thing. I mean, you just caught a 46-inch fish on that get up, and you got it in 3.5, 4 minutes. You kept it reasonable, and you guys, you know, did a quick look, quick measurement, back in the water, supported the whole time.
Exactly.
That's like a healthy release.
Whoa!
Oh, son!
Oh, son, he's on.
That's a pig, though, like shoulders. Great. That's great.
But the last hour of really good, hour of really good fishing, we transitioned to bait because they were pressured on the surface. They started feeding mid-water, and we were getting bites, you know, 30, 40 feet underneath the boat.
One thing that I think people had trouble getting over with the circle hooks, once you start using them all the time, you realize you actually catch a lot more fish. You actually land way more, in my opinion, way more fish on circle hooks than you do on J-hooks. Don't be scared of circle hooks.
Live bait, circle hook, man.
You were buttoned right there in the top.
That was great.
top corner.
And then on the way in, we were marking them all on the bottom.
Yeah, and then they had fed. They were down on the bottom tight through that slack tide.
Whoop, there it is.
Yep.
That's a 40-incher. Any pliers, you okay?
40 inches. It's like
45.
oh, yeah.
Dude.
Look at the girth on that thing. He's just full of mackerel and pogies.
This is heavy.
Yep. Over 30 pounds.
Yep.
What are you looking for here on the release?
He's probably, or she's probably already good to go. She's kind of sitting here, but as soon as I threw her in, she's vigorous. She's biting my thumb right now. Yep, you got it. She's ready to go. Swap his in. It was a phenomenal day. I love that we got out here all together, kind of representing these different groups that care about striped bass, and like had a hell of a day on striped bass together. It was awesome. We got to do a lot, catch a lot, and like you pointed out earlier, we probably, you know, we don't think we kept our post-release mortality down really low, which is even better. Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things, you know, if people are recreational anglers that are experienced in taking friends and family, is educate them on the way out. Take that time. It only takes 2 minutes to hook a rod to a safety line or a cleat and show them how to properly reel one in, at least shorten the learning curve a little bit. Because that little bit of education on how to fight them properly, how long to let them eat a live bait or how long to let them eat a dead bait is huge. You know, it changes your day from 10 gut hooks to 1 gut hook just in a 2-minute conversation. I think a lot of people should think about that. You know, communicate, have a good plan, and at the end of the day, it's the best thing for the fish, and you're just gonna have more fun doing it.